Hello, I'm Benedict B. Pepino, and today I will be presenting my topic for my position paper, why ROTC should be implemented back in senior high school students or in universities and schools. So, what is ROTC? Well, ROTC stands for Reserve Officers Training Corps. It is a program for students that it's a course program for students that they can take to their schools that helps them in their future careers, whether it's learning for leadership, and it helps them to train in military to let them be reserved when the time comes in an unfortunate event that their country stands or gets into war. So let's talk about why ROTC is banned. One of the first major flaws of ROTC for the mind of most people is ROTC is a very factuate system. It's a very problematic system that has an immoral issues around it and the people around it too. So it's not really an immoral program. It's not going to be a program if it is. ROTC tends to help students build confidence and leadership and critical thinking skills, and even helps them physically when it comes to development and progress. So let's go and discuss. Let's go and discuss the. So let's go and discuss on why ROTC should be implemented back in high school and in senior high students. So let's go and discuss on why ROTC should be implemented back in high school and senior high students. Number one, ROTC matters. So you're going to ask, why does ROTC matters? ROTC matters in keeping students in check and keeping discipline around the campus or university and around students that are participating into the program too. So not only that, ROTC helps keep this standard within students, but it helps us integrate great discipline around ourselves personally and spiritually too. Number two, the core benefits of the ROTC is to help us be prepared when our country goes into an untimely, unfortunate time of war. The Philippines is an archipelago surrounded by a lot more countries too, like Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, and Korea. But out of those all is a country named China, which is, if you know, that we are in a heated position with regarding on the West Philippine Sea. So not only ROTC can help us with all those personal development, benefits, it could also help us be prepared when the untimely time comes that we need to go to war with China. I'm not saying that we should go to war with China, but it just helps us as a precaution if it does happen. And why include it is a logical reasoning demonstrates on how ROTC shapes character and decision making. Not only that it helps us with personal benefits and personal developments, but it also helps our characters and the people around us. When we are more disciplined, we tend to be a better version of ourselves, and helps the people around us be a better version of themselves too. And I think ROTC can help students and people be a better version of themselves when it is implemented right, when it is leaded right, and when it is supervised right. And number two, nation building and civic responsibility. So the point of the ROTC still instills a sense of national pride and unity, preparing you to serve their communities and country, right? So the point of that is just ROTC is not only like a precautionary war method for countries to use. ROTC also helps us to fill the gaps in our civic responsibilities, and as a civic fuck's sake. ROTC helps us fill the gaps as ROTC helps us fill the gaps in civic responsibility. Now, as a law-abiding citizen of the Philippines, it is important for me to keep my civic responsibility in place. And how can I do that? And how can I, show that? Is being a great student overall. I can fulfill my civic responsibilities by being a great student, being a great child, being a great brother, being a great friend, being a great son to my parents. But I can help more people in my whole country too if I participate in ROTC. It can help me fulfill my civic responsibilities and give something back to the country and help my country when the time comes, when the unfortunate time comes, so I can be there and be at help and fulfill my civic responsibilities. Maybe not now, maybe not later, but I'm giving my civic responsibilities and I'm fulfilling the civic responsibilities through the course of giving my dedication through the ROTC program. And why include it, right? It links individual growth to societal contributions. So ROTC is not only a training program for people. It's a communal, it's a societal, help too. It's a societal and communal program that helps us to build more connections and grow as people. And I think ROTC can help us with building bridges and building connections between people when training comes, like in boot camps or in physical training, we tend to get to know more people. And I think ROTC can help with that, especially when you really need with social help in your social life. And if you really have bad social anxiety, you might meet people that can help you destroy those bridges around you. And I think one of the best examples for this is by fostering civic responsibility and teamwork. ROTC molds future citizens who understand the importance of unity and service. And I think if we citizens understand the underlying meaning of ROTC, not only for the vague, not only for the generic meaning of it, but if we truly understand its core values, and if we make those core values, it is just more than a military showcase. It is a communal and societal help. It is like a bayanihan and a one for all for one type of situation. So one of the greatest things about ROTC is not only just merely the fact on it being a military program, but it also helps us to be undivided and be more glued together as a community and as a society in the Philippines. And one of these greater points too is ROTC tends to help us with practical skills for emergencies. So the point of ROTC is to train students in first aid. They have programs to train students in responding on how to respond to disasters in first aid, in resource management, and also in like real world scenarios. So back in the civic duties and civic responsibilities, serving your country is not only about signing in military and fighting for your country, dying for your country. I think people are afraid to do that, and they don't tend to realize that it's not just about that. ROTC also helps us to be a better citizen and a better people for our country. It helps us and it teaches us how to be a better citizen or a better role model for our country and community. And one of those great examples are outside in military, and one of those examples are out in the military aspect is us being prepared for natural disasters. So if you know, Philippines are a great magnet in hurricanes, or in storms, or in thunderstorms, or in baha, commonly known. So when ROTC comes back, it would help us massively to understand the grave situation of these types of scenarios and these types of disasters, to help us know and help us react on how we should react to it, rather than just handing out a helping hand to a random stranger in the times of need. Sure, we can still do that when we train for ROTC, but we can do a lot more, right? We can do a lot more and more efficient things without the need of first respondents, or them before them coming to the local places that we are located in. So I think ROTC not only teaches us, military skills, or like discipline and self progression, it also teaches us on how to be available for others and how to be available for yourself. And lastly, I think is the greatest thing about this argument is just about we are scared to be deployed, or we are scared to serve for our country. We are scared to die because we are just kids and we are preparing to go all out war. And I think that's the biggest misconception when we're talking about ROTC. But ROTC is just focuses on personal growth and practical skills, and it doesn't really force us to like deploy and have those military careers. It is just an option, and I think it is a really logical decision to not being forced or not being a mandatory deployment. ROTC gives us a chance, or gives us a prior knowledge on what can our military do and what can our military showcase to our country, and how it can help us, how it can help us individually, and it can help us, how it can help our communities and stuff. So I think we need to break that stigma down by letting students know and letting them think for themselves, and getting them be informed that ROTC doesn't really forces us to deploy, or ROTC doesn't really forces us to have military careers and go fight for our country, or go all out war against other countries too, because nobody really wants to fight, not even the government themselves. We are just given the opportunity to have a training and be reserved to fight for our very beautiful and very strong country. And I hope this message reaches a lot of citizens and a lot of students, and let them be informed that ROTC is not that bad. ROTC can help us develop ourselves personally, individually, logically, spiritually, and on every aspect of ourselves. And I think everybody wants to develop and wants to be better. But how are we going to be better if we don't give our chance to be better? And I hope my persuasive speech reaches students and a massive audience, and gets them informed that we all want to develop, and ROTC gives us a chance to develop, gives us an option to develop, and gives us a choice to develop. And I think ROTC is really beneficial when it comes to like development and individual progression, because ROTC gives us prior knowledge and gives us additional information that we didn't know about ourselves, and it helps us physically through physical trainings. And it also helps us with discipline that can help ourselves in other aspects too. And overall, ROTC just wants us to develop and be a better citizen for the tomorrow. for the tomorrow of our nation, for the tomorrow of our society, for the tomorrow of our country, for the tomorrow of our community. And I think everybody wants to develop and everybody wants to be a better version of themselves and be a better people for other people. And I think everybody wants to be that. But we cannot be that if we won't give ourselves a chance. And giving ourselves a chance is giving ROTC a chance to help us walk through that path. And I'm Benedict B. Pipino, and thank you for listening, and thank you for giving your time to me. And this is my persuasive speech. Bye-bye.